The Aswang, the terrifying shapeshifter of Filipino folklore. In the shadowed corners of Filipino folklore, few creatures inspire as much fear and fascination as the Aswang. This dreaded being is a shape-shifting monster that lurks in the dark, preying on the weak and vulnerable. Tales of the Aswang are woven into the cultural fabric of the Philippines, particularly in the Visayan and Mindanao regions, where stories have been passed down for generations. The Aswang is not just one creature, but a category of supernatural beings, vampiric, demonic, and ghastly in various forms. Despite its many faces, one thing remains constant. The Aswang is a symbol of primal fear, the kind that lingers when the lights go out and the night whispers in unknown tongues. Origins and nature of the Aswang. The legend of the Aswang dates back centuries, born from a blend of indigenous beliefs, pre-colonial animism, and later, Spanish influences. The name Aswang is thought to derive from the word aswang, meaning something like a dog, wolf, or predator in various Filipino dialects, reflecting its menacing nature. Unlike Western monsters confined to forests or graveyards, the Aswang is insidious because it often hides in plain sight, living quietly among villagers by day. By night, however, it reveals its true form, a grotesque, bloodthirsty creature that hunts the innocent. Forms of the Aswang. The Aswang is a shapeshifter, capable of assuming different forms depending on its intent. The most feared forms include the ghoul, kiwig or balbal. This Aswang feeds on fresh corpses, digging up graves and devouring the bodies. It is said to have long claws and a hideous stench. Some versions claim it leaves behind a banana tree trunk in place of the stolen corpse to fool grieving families. The bloodsucker, MANANANGGAL. Perhaps the most infamous Aswang type, the MANANANGGAL is a vampire-like creature. By night, its upper body detaches from its lower half, sprouting bat-like wings as it flies through the sky. It hunts for sleeping victims, particularly pregnant women, extending a long, needle-thin tongue to drain the unborn child from the womb. The witch, mangkukulam or bruja. This Aswang appears as an ordinary person by day, but casts dark spells by night. They curse their enemies with illness or misfortune. The beastly Aswang, tik-tik or wak-wak. This Aswang takes the form of a dog, pig, or large bird, stalking its victims in the dark. Its name comes from the eerie sound it makes, tik-tik or wak-wak, which grows softer as it gets closer, tricking victims into thinking the danger is far away. The corpse impersonator, sigbin or ungo. This Aswang can mimic the appearance of its victims, returning home to their family in disguise to slowly drain their life force. Hunting grounds and behavior. The Aswang's victims are often those considered vulnerable: children, pregnant women, or lone travelers. They are said to stalk isolated villages, targeting homes where families are asleep. Folklore warns that Aswangs can sense a pregnant woman's presence and will travel great distances to feed on the unborn child. To deceive its prey, the Aswang may imitate human voices or the cries of a baby to lure victims out into the night. The terrifying tik-tik sound associated with some Aswangs is part of their twisted cunning. When you hear it loud, the creature is far away. When it sounds faint, the Aswang is near. Weaknesses and defenses. Despite their terrifying power, Aswangs are believed to have several weaknesses. Garlic, salt, and holy objects are said to repel them. A buntot paji, stingray's tail, is a powerful talisman believed to drive Aswangs away. Coconut oil infused with herbs is believed to boil and bubble when an Aswang is nearby. The Aswang is also said to fear its own reflection, particularly in mirrors or bowls of water. Cutting the MANANANGGAL's lower half while its upper body hunts is the only way to destroy it. If it cannot reconnect by dawn, the creature will perish. The tale of the Aswang and the brave midwife. One famous legend tells of a courageous Hilot, midwife, who faced an Aswang to save a pregnant woman. One stormy night, the midwife was summoned to deliver a child in a remote village. As she worked, she heard a faint tik-tik sound outside the window, the telltale sign of a MANANANGGAL. Fearing the worst, the midwife spread garlic cloves around the windows and doors. As the mother labored in pain, the midwife glanced upward. Through the thatched roof, she saw the horrifying shadow of the MANANANGGAL's winged form circling overhead. Its tongue slithered through a hole in the ceiling, reaching toward the pregnant woman's belly. With quick thinking, the midwife grabbed a fistful of salt and hurled it onto the creature's tongue. The MANANANGGAL shrieked in agony and fled into the night, leaving the mother and her newborn safe. The Aswang in modern culture. Despite its ancient roots, the Aswang's legend continues to thrive. It appears in modern Filipino horror films, comics, and literature, remaining a symbol of hidden evil and fear of the unknown. The Aswang is also a social metaphor, a warning about people who mask their true intentions and prey on the weak. For centuries, Aswang stories have served as cautionary tales, urging villagers to stay vigilant at night, protect their families, and be wary of those who seem too ordinary to be true. The lasting legacy of the Aswang. The Aswang remains one of the most chilling figures in Filipino mythology, blending fear, mystery, and cultural identity. Its ability to hide in plain sight, appearing as a friend by day and a predator by night, reflects timeless anxieties about deception and unseen threats. Even today, in remote parts of the Philippines, some still whisper Aswang tales by candlelight, warning travelers to beware the shadow that lingers just outside the door, or the faint tick-tick sound that grows quieter as the danger draws near. The TIKBALANG, the guardian trickster of the Philippine forests. In the dense, mist-covered forests and rugged mountains of the Philippines, folklore speaks of a towering, horse-headed creature that lurks in the shadows, the TIKBALANG. Known for its powerful frame, haunting presence, and mischievous nature, the TIKBALANG is said to lead travelers astray, leaving them hopelessly lost in the wilderness. Both feared and respected, this enigmatic figure blurs the line between guardian spirit and dangerous trickster. Appearance of the TIKBALANG. The TIKBALANG's form is striking and unforgettable. Descriptions vary between regions, but most legends describe it as a tall, bony humanoid with the head of a horse, burning red eyes, and sinewy limbs so long that when it squats, its knees rise above its head. Its skin is often said to be dark brown, charcoal black, or even golden in color, shimmering faintly under the moonlight. The TIKBALANG's mane is said to be wild and tangled, sometimes woven with twigs and leaves, a sign of its deep connection to the forest. In some stories, its eyes glow like burning embers, capable of mesmerizing those who dare to meet its gaze. The creature's laughter, shrill and unsettling, is said to echo through the trees, disorienting travelers and luring them deeper into the unknown. The nature of the TIKBALANG. The TIKBALANG is a trickster spirit, known for playing pranks on humans. Rather than direct violence, it prefers to confuse and torment those who wander into its domain. Travelers walking familiar paths may suddenly find themselves circling the same spot for hours, no matter how far they seem to go. The TIKBALANG's mischief can range from harmless tricks, like scattering belongings or untying livestock, to terrifying deceptions that leave victims wandering lost until exhaustion claims them. Some stories claim the TIKBALANG takes twisted pleasure in driving people mad with fear. Yet despite its intimidating nature, the TIKBALANG is not always malevolent. In certain regions, it is considered a guardian spirit, protecting the forests and mountains from those who seek to harm nature. Folklore says that those who show respect to the TIKBALANG may pass safely, while those who mock or damage its territory risk its wrath. The TIKBALANG's tricks, lost in the wild. One of the TIKBALANG's most infamous tricks is leading travelers in endless circles. Victims often report feeling disoriented, as if the trees themselves are moving or the path they followed has twisted back on itself. According to legend, the TIKBALANG achieves this by casting a powerful illusion. Some believe that once under its spell, no matter which direction a traveler turns, they will unknowingly retrace their own steps. How to break the TIKBALANG's spell. To escape the TIKBALANG's enchantment, folklore offers a curious remedy. Turning one's shirt inside out is said to break the illusion and reveal the true path. Others claim that asking permission before passing through forests, or quietly whispering tabi-tabi po, a respectful phrase meaning "excuse me please," shows humility, which earns the TIKBALANG's favor. The Tale of the Arrogant Traveler. One well-known legend tells of a proud and arrogant merchant who mocked the idea of spirits like the TIKBALANG. One evening, while crossing a remote mountain path, he boasted loudly that no spirit could outwit him. As twilight deepened, the merchant noticed the path ahead seemed unfamiliar. The trees seemed to close in around him, and no matter how far he walked, he always returned to the same twisted tree. Hours turned into night, and the merchant wandered deeper into the darkness. Desperate and panicked, he recalled an old villager's advice. Turning his shirt inside out, he muttered a humble, "Tabi tabi po." Moments later, the fog seemed to lift. The familiar path reappeared, and the merchant stumbled back to the village, humbled and grateful for his escape. The TIKBALANG's golden mane, a secret of power. Some versions of the TIKBALANG myth describe the creature as possessing 3 golden hairs hidden in its mane. These hairs are said to hold immense power, granting the one who plucks them control over the TIKBALANG itself. Legends tell of brave souls who attempt to outwit the TIKBALANG, tricking it into a state of distraction or weariness to steal these enchanted hairs. But such feats are rare, and failure often leads to the TIKBALANG's merciless vengeance. The TIKBALANG as a guardian spirit. While many stories portray the TIKBALANG as a menacing force, some regions believe it to be a protector of nature. In these tales, the TIKBALANG defends the forests from loggers, poachers, or those who disrespect the land. Travelers who show reverence, by offering tobacco, coins, or whispered prayers, are believed to earn the TIKBALANG's protection. Modern legends and cultural impact. The TIKBALANG continues to influence Filipino culture, appearing in literature, films, and folklore-inspired media. Modern interpretations sometimes depict it as a tragic figure, a once-human spirit cursed to roam the earth in beastly form, longing for peace. In remote villages, elders still warn children not to wander too far from home, lest the TIKBALANG find them and lead them astray. The TIKBALANG's presence lingers in whispered warnings and cautious rituals, a reminder of nature's untamed spirit and the unseen forces that dwell in the shadows. The TIKBALANG's lesson: respect for the unknown. The legend of the TIKBALANG teaches humility and respect for nature. It warns against arrogance and reminds travelers to tread carefully in unfamiliar places. Whether viewed as a mischievous trickster or a noble guardian, the TIKBALANG stands as a powerful figure, one that reflects the balance between man, wilderness, and the mysteries that dwell in the unseen corners of the world. The MANANANGGAL, the nightmarish predator of Filipino folklore. Of all the creatures in Philippine mythology, none inspires dread quite like the MANANANGGAL. This horrifying, vampire-like entity is infamous for its grotesque ability to separate its upper body from its lower half, sprouting leathery wings and soaring into the night to feast on unsuspecting victims. The MANANANGGAL is a symbol of both terror and deception, blending horror with deeply rooted cultural warnings about vulnerability and unseen dangers. Appearance of the MANANANGGAL. The MANANANGGAL's form is deeply unsettling, even in its human disguise. By day, it appears as a beautiful woman, often charming, reserved, and mysterious. In some versions of the myth, she is described as a widow, a lonely maiden, or a recluse who keeps to herself in remote villages. But when night falls, the MANANANGGAL reveals its true nature. With a sickening crack of bones and tearing of flesh, the creature's upper torso rips itself away from its lower body. Its arms become elongated, its fingers turn into sharp talons, and bat-like wings sprout from its back, allowing it to glide through the sky. The most chilling detail lies in its gory transformation. As its upper body detaches, the creature's entrails and internal organs dangle freely beneath it, glistening and pulsing like twisted vines. This grotesque sight is said to strike paralyzing fear into anyone unfortunate enough to witness it. The MANANANGGAL's hunting methods. The MANANANGGAL's preferred victims are often pregnant women or sleeping individuals. Folklore warns that this creature is particularly drawn to the scent of unborn children. As it flies silently through the night, the MANANANGGAL searches for homes where pregnant women sleep. Perched on the roof or window ledge, it extends its long, needle-like tongue, capable of squeezing through cracks, keyholes, or gaps in bamboo walls. With this thin, sinister appendage, the MANANANGGAL pierces the mother's womb, draining the unborn child's blood and life essence. In other versions, the MANANANGGAL preys on lone travelers, ambushing those who wander too far from safety. Victims are often found pale, weak, or lifeless by dawn, drained of blood with no visible wounds, a telltale sign of the MANANANGGAL's visit. The vulnerability of the MANANANGGAL. Despite its fearsome powers, the MANANANGGAL has a significant weakness: its severed lower half. When the MANANANGGAL detaches to hunt, its lower torso remains vulnerable and exposed. Legends say that sprinkling salt, ashes, or garlic on the exposed lower body prevents the creature from reuniting with it before sunrise. If the MANANANGGAL cannot reconnect to its lower half by dawn, it will wither and die as the sun's rays burn it to ash. Because of this vulnerability, stories tell of brave villagers who sought out the creature's hidden lower half, coating it in salt, or smashing it to ensure the monster's destruction. The tale of the village sentinel. One well-known legend tells of a brave young man named Miguel, who encountered the MANANANGGAL while protecting his village. One evening, while on patrol, Miguel noticed a suspicious figure, a woman from a nearby village, sneaking into the forest at dusk. He followed her from a distance and was horrified to witness her transformation. As the MANANANGGAL's upper body detached and took flight, Miguel quietly approached the abandoned lower half. Recalling his grandmother's warning, he covered the torso in crushed garlic and ashes from a nearby fire. He waited until dawn, heart pounding, as the winged creature returned in desperation. Unable to reconnect to its body, the MANANANGGAL shrieked in agony before burning into nothingness with the rising sun. Miguel's bravery saved his village, and he was hailed as a hero. Signs of a MANANANGGAL's presence. Filipino folklore offers clues to detect a MANANANGGAL nearby. The tik-tik sound. A distinct tik-tik or ikik sound is said to grow softer as the MANANANGGAL gets closer, tricking victims into thinking the creature is far away. The smell of vinegar and rotten meat. The MANANANGGAL's presence is often accompanied by an unpleasant odor, a mix of acidic vinegar and decaying flesh. Sudden cold winds. Some believe that the chilling breeze felt on calm nights is a sign the MANANANGGAL is passing overhead. Protecting against the MANANANGGAL. To ward off the MANANANGGAL, Filipino folklore emphasizes the use of traditional repellents. Garlic, salt, and ashes are potent defenses. Placing them on rooftops, windows, or doors deters the creature from landing. Blessed palm fronds from Palm Sunday are believed to create a protective barrier. Sharp bamboo sticks or thorns placed near windows can pierce the MANANANGGAL's tongue, wounding it and forcing it to flee. Keeping a bolos, a Filipino machete or dagger nearby, is thought to provide protection, especially if forged with silver. The origins and cultural symbolism. The legend of the MANANANGGAL is believed to have roots in pre-colonial beliefs, blending indigenous animism with Spanish colonial influence. Some scholars suggest the MANANANGGAL reflects anxieties about strong, independent women, especially those who defy social norms or reject traditional roles. The creature's ability to disguise itself as a beautiful woman by day reflects themes of deception, a warning that not all things are as they seem. Its grotesque transformation also mirrors the belief that those consumed by envy, hatred, or selfishness may become corrupted. The MANANANGGAL in modern culture. The MANANANGGAL remains a powerful figure in Filipino horror. It frequently appears in films, television, and urban legends, continuing to terrify and captivate modern audiences. In some retellings, the MANANANGGAL is portrayed with tragic depth, a cursed soul forced into monstrosity, struggling to suppress its hunger. This modern interpretation blends horror with sympathy, showing the MANANANGGAL as a victim of fate as well as a predator. The lasting legacy of the MANANANGGAL. The MANANANGGAL's legend endures as a chilling reminder of hidden threats, a creature that blurs the boundary between beauty and horror, between protection and danger. Even today, in remote parts of the Philippines, villagers still whisper warnings about the tik-tik sound at night. Families hang garlic on their doors, and pregnant women avoid traveling alone after dark. Reminders that, in the heart of Filipino folklore, the manananggal still spreads its wings when the world falls asleep.